Hello. So, Yining, I would like to confirm. I want to start now. Start our session.
Yes, we can hear you, Noah.
So, with your permission, okay, I begin this session. Okay, so my name is Noah Law. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you very much for joining us from wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's session of the ITU Digital Transformation Dialogue. Yeah, I mentioned my name is Noah Law. Maybe some of you know me. I'm the chairman of ITUT Study Group 16 and also work as a senior expert in the area of international standardization for Huawei technologies. It's my great pleasure today to serve as the master of ceremony and the request of the organizer, the excellent team from ITUT. Yeah, today's session has a general title of Ask the Expert session. Yes, it's also a part of a larger series organized by ITU called the Digital Transformation Dialogues, all known as DTD. Digital Transformation Dialogues is intended to bring together experts from a range of industry and specialities for webinars, fireside chats, and Ask Expert sessions such as this one. Before I introduce our expert speaker, I would like to give you some points about logistic issues. First of all questions from the audience will be taken during the Q&A session after the expert has finished her presentation. If you have questions that you would like to submit, please do so by typing them in the question and answer window. You can easily see this with the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. But please don't raise your hand and then speak. You need to submit in this text window. And also, in addition to your question, please also indicate the city and the country from which you are connecting. A last point for your reminder, we are pleased to confirm that this Ask Expert session is being recorded and that the recording will be made available on the event website. So, like I mentioned previously, The topic today is exploring DLT, or distributed ledger technology, beyond the cryptocurrency with application and opportunities. We will be focusing on the ITUT recommendation related to DLT. Having said that, probably you may be interested in knowing this kind of recommendation are being developed by ITUT Step 16. So the title for Step 16 is Multimedia Digital Service. And also under this Step 16, we have a three working party. One of the working party with the title Multimedia Digital Service and the Human Aspect, which include this question 22, which works on the DLT technologies. So today, we have Madam Liang Zhang, who is the Associate Rapporteur for ITUT Article 16 for this question 22, like I said, which covers multimedia aspect of distributed ledger technology and then related digital services. She is also the vice chair of a working group in China. The title for the working group is Industry Blockchain Working Group and the CCSA. I think having said that, I finished my job in the first part. Then I will be very happy to give the floor to our excellent speaker, Madam Liang Zhang. So Liang, now you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Luo. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Liang, and Associate Rapporteur of ITUT SG 16 question 22, Multimedia Aspect of Distributed Ledger Technology and E-Service. On behalf of the ITUT SG 16 question 22, it's my pleasure to dive into the standardization's progress of SC 16 question 22 regarding to the fundamentals of DLT, its applications beyond cryptocurrency and its impact on sectors such as finance, green, supply chain, etc. The next page. As we know, distributed ledger is a type of ledger that is shared, replicated, and synchronized in a distributed and decentralized manner. DLT has a great potential to enhance the trustworthiness of e-service and applications in a broad area of digitalization of society, including but not limited to digital identity management, financial transaction processing, government issues document provenance, international telecommunication, settlements, copyright management of multimedia content, full transferability, routing, etc. Currently, a range of standardization relative and industry in yet active have comments across global examining different aspects of DLT. Question 22 is the dedicated group under the SG16 to conduct DLT standards relative to study and to develop recommendations on DLT and DLT-based e-service. In question 22, we study concept coverage, vision use cases of service based on DLT, the characteristics and requirements for the service based on DLT, also the architecture framework, communication technologies of service based on DLT too. We analyze this and evaluate the current standards of the DLT and its maturity to support e-service. We also identify stakeholders with whom ITU could collaborate further on and potential collective actions and specific next steps. So based on that, we utilize and maintain the deliverables relative to DLT that may be produced by the relevant ITU focus group, such as focus group DLT, or also develop documents which reflect how the DLT enable applications and service by the underlying nature of the ecosystems, taking into account exiting applicable best practice, risk assessments, methodology, and business method for DLT applications. Next page, please. So, as we know, the DLT is an emerging technology. So we could find for the standardizations, there are two aspects. One aspect, the standards for the ELT technical aspect. This is the base. This is the base. First, so furthermore, for example, we develop recommendations on the definition of terminology, reference architecture, texting, and evolution for DLT systems. Furthermore, we study and analyze the implication of mandating interoperability and interconnecting of service based on DLT2. We also study the making the standards relative to the technologies such as smart contract, privacy relative to in the DLT domains too. So on the other part, the DLT-based service, including but not limited to finance, green, energy, supply chain, governments, industry, telecommunication, health care, etc. So regarding to these parts, this is the standards for DLT enable e-service. Regarding to the service based on DLT, with making the standardizations, such as the characteristics and requirements for the service based on DLT, the architecture framework for the different service applications too. So next page, please. Actually, for the in 2020, LTU SC16 agreed that question 22 were established. Its terms of reference was mentioned in the previous page. Actually, before that, in 2017, ITU established the focus group on application of distributed ledger technology. It's developed 8 deliverables, and most of them were getting further discussed in SD16. These are the base of the question 22. We utilize and maintain these deliverables relative to DLT. Most of them has been published as the ITUT recommendation. So this year in 2024 April, the SG16 plenary meeting was held in France. We also discussed a lot. So until now, we find that in question 22, about 22 recommendations had been published, and 20 work items are ongoing, starting. We have a lot of work to do, and we are really appreciate to the editors and stakeholders, the stakeholders' contributions and great works in question 22. So as we know that DLT, the technical characteristics of DLT are temporal-proved and transferable. So DLT is helping build a trusty digital world. So what is the value of the DLT standardizations? That the value is that transmitting trusty value circulation and promoting healthy industry development. So based on the what items and a recommendation we have published, we found that for the regarding to the standards for DLT technical aspect, we have already published the reference framework for the DLT, and we also developing a series standardizations on the texting and evaluations for matching the reference framework Also, we are starting the interoperability and the other DLT technical aspects such as data access, smart control, etc. On the other hand, regarding to the standards for DLT enabled e-service, we find that a lot of what items is relative to the different industry application, such as green, finance, digital media, energy, etc. So we can give some examples. We have just a public one recommendation is the financial distributed ledger technology application guideline in the finance domain, and for example, for the green domain, some recommendation are public too, such as the general framework for DLT-based energy metering data sharing. Requirements for DLT-based power grid data management. Also, there are some other applications such as the framework for DLT-based invoices. So we could find that there are a lot of opportunities and applications in these two parts, DLT technical aspect and DLT enable e-service. So next page, please. Especially, we are trying to select some typical recommendation, share our important progress, and share these recommendations value and important progress. First of all, for the DLT reference framework, as well as its texting and evaluations. The ITUT F.T51.2 is the recommendations on reference framework. Based on that, a series of standardizations, relative texting, and evolution are starting. Firstly, for the F.751.1, it provides the assessment criteria for DLT. And then furthermore, in order to matching us in matching it and supporting the evolution, we also develop and publish the ITUT F.T51.6 and F.751.7. It's one is relative to the performance assessment methods. The other is for the functional assessment methods for the DLT platforms. On the other part is the interoperability. We have studied, actually we have developed the technical requirement on interchangeabilities for permissioned distributed ledger technologies. Also, we are developing the framework for DLT interoperability too. Also, we have some work items. It's relative to the interoperability, such as the requirements of interoperability between smart contract and AI based on DLT. Okay, I will give more details on these several important standards recommendations. So next page, please. In this page, it shows that more details relative to the reference framework and the first assessment criteria for DLT platform. We could see that especially based on regarding to the reference framework of ITUT F.751.2, the F.75.1.1, it's specific the criteria for DLT core functions, application functions, operation functions, performance, and DLT ecosystems too. They are all public in 2020. They are the outputs. Actually, they are the outputs of their focus group DLT, and then we have discussed in the SD16, and we published it. So next page, please. In order to matching and supporting the F.751.1, we also developed two recommendations. One is the performance assessment methods. The other is functional assessment methods for DLT platforms. Especially for the ITUT F.751.6, its specific requirements for the DLT performance assessment and defines DLT's performance assessments indicators and its calculations methods. It also standardizes specific the workflow of DLP performance testing and requirements for generating performance test reports. And for the other one, the ITUT F.751.7 defines the functional assessments methods. It specific the tax cases and its relative tax methods expected results too. So that's all for this part. So next page, please. So finally, for the interoperability, we have just these technical requirements on interchain interoperability for permission distributed ledger technology agreed for consent this year. Actually, as we know, with the development of the economy and industry, the digital society are entering the stage of cross-industry collaboration and co-governancing. In the notion of digital economy models will lead to cross-domain collaboration. So this is required to support the cross-chain interworking between homogeneous and high net hundreds of owners blockchain DLT to achieve trusted data transmission and value transmission in the large scope. So 2022 discuss and formulate the cross-chain technical specifications with the industry partners and help the industry upstream and downstream partners implement cross-chain technical solutions and service. We hope to provide guide on this trusty cross-chain information interaction process and technical requirements in the design, text, and evolution phases. So we also welcome more stakeholders and partners to join us. That's all for the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Liang Liang, for your excellent presentation. Okay, so it's Nolo back again. Now I think we have two questions for the speaker. But like I said, if we collect a question from our audience, if you can see any questions in this text window for Q&A, we will try to answer them. But I first give the two questions for Liang Liang that may serve as some further clue for people to understand our work. So the first question for Liang Liang is actually, your presentation mentioned many interesting aspects we are working on and some very, very strategic project like for cross-chain interoperability, so on and so forth. So meeting various needs from a wide range of industry globally, So what is the practical strategy? And probably you also have some prioritization for your question on DLT, question 22 in 16. And how is our work is really aligned with this kind of strategic direction? So this first question for you, Madam Zhang.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Law. Actually, question 22 are going on its work, based on its terms of reference. Furthermore, considering the emerging technology enhancements, we are also going to investigate the relations between DLT, AI, metaverse, Web 3.0, and other emerging technologies. Exams means for extending digital trust in the context of the digital service using DLT. We also welcome more stakeholders with whom ITU could collaborate further on, and potential corrective actions and specific next steps. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, hopefully her answer will provide more information to our audience. I think the audience still growing. So at its peak, it reaches near 100 people. That's a miracle for a webinar, and it's good proof our topic, the choice of topic is correct, and we'd be able to attract more attention from around the world. The second question for Madam Zhang, I think it's more about the technical trends. So we are more interested in learning major trends in the DLT area in general, but also in particular how this trend will impact our work or your work. Our work means the work for statistics in general, and your work means the DLT work in question 22 in particular. Thank you very much, Madam Zhang.
Thank you. That's a very good question and very important. As I have mentioned in the last page, I think we think interoperability is a very important issues. So question 22 are going on to study the development of the standardization roadmap for the interoperable service based on DLT, taking into considerations the interoperability challenges and best practice. Also, we have noticed that the convergence of multiple emerging technology is a main chain. So DLT plus the other emerging technology, how to support a trusted digital world, I think we still have a lot of work to do. We are looking forward to a DLT enabling more different industries, service, and applications, and looking forward to more partners join to us and finding more opportunities and applications. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Zhang. Okay, I finished my question, but I think we still a couple minutes left. If with permission from the organizer, Yining, I check with you. Can we still give a few minutes for people to post the question in the window? Okay, so I think we have probably 5 minutes also for people to post these questions. If we see any in this Q&A window, and then I think Liang and I will try our best to provide our answers. Oh, there is actually, Liang, can you take a look? Actually, there are 2 questions. One from Geoffrey, the other from Huggins. Yeah.
Let me check the questions. I trying to say that continue. Which question? I could not catch these two
Actually,
questions.
I will take the first question. I will take, because it's of more general nature by Geoffrey, and you can handle the second one. It's more technical. So yeah, thank you very much for this good question. I raised this question for all of us to hear. So a question from Geoffrey. Thanks for the presentation. I came from the humanitarian world. I see several potential applications of DLT within the humanitarian work. Is ITU currently engaging actor within the humanitarian sector on potential usage and integration of DLT and other emerging technology in humanitarian environment? I think it's a good question, because ITU is a professional, specialized agency and United Nations. So we work closely with other United Nations agencies, WHO, ILO, and also we work closely under the guideline of SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. More or less, like I said, this working group, working party 2, which includes this question 22, our topic is multi-digital service and the human aspect. In human aspect, we deal with digital health and medicine. Also, we deal human factor. We deal with accessibility. All those 3 questions probably comprise something we can call technology for good or whatever. That's a part of humanitarian purpose. This is my understanding, but Geoffrey, I'm not quite sure our understanding of this humanitarian aspect is the same, identical with your understanding or whatever. But I think in general, under the guideline FDG and the technology for good, for the good of human beings, we welcome that kind of contribution and proposal to be openly discussed in our question 22 and the study of 16 in general, to say how we can help with this great cause to serve the human beings well. Thank you very much. So Liang, you can handle the second question. I think.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Luo. You are the SG16 chairman. Thank you very much. You give me a lot. You give us a lot of information to these questions. Actually, I find in my text I couldn't see the questions. I always see some summarize or some information.
You see this question and answer. Actually, there's a question from.
In fact, I didn't see the questions. There were lots of information, so I didn't catch the
you need
questions.
to see this question and answer window, not this chat window.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. I see it. I see the questions. What about
No, I already dealt with the first one, the humanitarian one. You can deal with this one from Hugen.
Okay, let me check the questions. Okay, what is the strategies and programs are on the tables to help developing country, particularly the LDCs, SIDs, and LLDCs, to utilize the DLT technology? Thank you for your question. I think DLT is the characteristics of DLT is decentralized, right? So I think it's a very good opportunity for the developing countries to use these emerging technologies. For example, actually, at ITUT XG16 question 22, we have published a lot of recommendations. This is published to everyone for free. So you can get these recommendations. You could catch the important points in the standardizations and try and use these standardizations for guidelines the DLT applications in the developing countries, for example. So ITUT is a very great organizations. It's very helpful for the developing countries for using the emerging technologies. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I see two more questions. One person asked if you can type the exact headline of the recommendation. You probably drop them in these text windows. So all this ITUT, F series, whatever, their number, something information. Yeah, I think that's what asked by one of the by one member of today's audience.
Yes, we still have 2 questions, right? So could you please type the exit headline of the recommendations? Actually, in question 22, we published the recommendation. The name of the recommendation always is ITUT F.751.x. So X maybe is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could type these words in Google, and you could find all the published recommendations in question 22. So you could get a lot of information on it. I think I hope I can help to answer your questions.
I think one more, and this Frederick, one question
Yeah.
from Frederick. Can you see that?
Okay, I see it. And his question is, what is the infrastructure requirement of DLT, and how could developing country take advantage of DLT? Well, thank you for your question. I think for response this, there are 2 parts. One is the infrastructure requirements of DLT. Actually, you could find our public recommendation on DLT framework, and they could give you a lot of functional requirements. This is all for this part. So this is the first one. And for the second part, how can developing country take advantage of DLT? So welcome to join the SC16 question 22 discussion. Actually, we have a lot of sector members. They also contribute their use cases, and they also contribute their contributions relative to DLT's the industry service and applications based on DLT. And based on this, you could join in question 22's discussion. I think the chairman or the would welcome the partners from the developing countries, and you could got a lot of information how to use DLT into different applications and service in our discussions. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I think because we still need to close meeting whatever time we have been generously given by the organizer, we need to close it. So let's see, we take the last 2 questions. So we take no more. And Yining, you can close this question and answer window. The last 2 questions remaining in this queue are from Hugen and from Ellen. So I would like to ask Liang to kindly handle them. But the last one, I'm not sure about the difference between digital transformation and digital turn. I have to be honest with you. The terminology we thoroughly used in ITU and many other organizations is unanimously digital transformation. We try to understand, but probably cannot answer today. If our organizer who work for ITU know the difference, probably you can also jump to our rescue to explain how the distinction between digital transformation and digital twin can be interpreted. But for a first question, I think Liang, you can well handle it. It's about operation assessment. Liang.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Luo. Thank you for the questions. The questions regarding to the key roles of DLT in terms of operation assessment method, what is about, on its importance to improve governance and to promote financial inclusion. I think actually in 2022 we have developed the standard recommendations on assessment methods regarding to it's in general for face to all the it's a general assessment methods for the DLT plan for, but it's not for only for the financial or only for one industry service or only for the governance. So I think for the governance and for promote the financial domain, actually we need to develop more serious standardizations relative to assessment methods. That's very important. If you have interest in this part, welcome to join us and we could discuss, and welcome to contribute your point. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think thank you very much, but I still want to offer our apology to this, I think, gentleman, Alain Francois Local, who still wants to know the difference between digital transformation and digital turn. Like I explained, the terminology we use thoroughly in ITU is digital transformation. But suppose we, by checking the authority source information, we found any difference. If you can leave your email address or any other contact information, we'll be happy to provide our information later on. Afterwards, okay, having said that, I would like to come to the final part of today's webinar. It's well organized. I think I would first thank you very much for your participation. My thanks be given to the excellent speaker and all the excellent work done by our unsung hero. So by them, I mean, actually, they deserve all sorts of gratitude. Yining and her team working laboriously to help this, to make it happen. So as we come to the end of our session, I would like to express our deep gratitude to all of the names I mentioned. And also, let's keep discussing interesting technical topics for DLT. I hope this session has given you a better understanding of this intricate and dynamic technical field. Once again, thank you all for participating in today's expert session. If you enjoyed today's session, I think we are greatly honored. I encourage you to join the future session of ITU Digital Transformation Dialogues, DTD in general. Okay, yeah, then ITU colleagues will provide relevant links to register for upcoming events in the chat. Please pay attention. Again, thank you once again for your participation. And with that, this Ask Expert session is concluded with success. Thank you. Bye-bye.